been so long, it's like alchemy.
If Pyros and Crips all got along, they probably gun me down by the end of the song. Seem like the whole city go against me. Every time I'm in the street, I hear drop, 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 drop.
Zach Randolph always wanted to live the life of a gangster. Randolph has had quite the storied life and NBA career. Before becoming the known and respected commodity he is today, Randolph had to battle through more than his fair share of adversity. Even now, with multiple accolades, he's still one of the most underrated power forwards this league has ever seen. He is the epitome of an underdog. For his first few seasons, there were multiple concerns surrounding him, troubling questions relative to his past of crimes and arrests, convictions, assaults, and connections with gang-related activities, including a shooting that resulted in a murder. When moving to Portland to begin his NBA career, Zach brought along with him an entourage of old friends that referred to themselves as the Hoops family. Yet in reality, they were a dangerous gang. The family was always hanging around Zach at his mansion in Portland. Police were often summoned to the mansion to investigate. On one of those occasions, when officers arrived at the mansion, they found Randolph in bed with a woman. The cops then uncovered an assault rifle and a Desert Eagle semi-automatic pistol from under the bed. One Hoops family member by the name of Kevin Charles Moffitt, who was an associate of the Crips, was the shooter in a murder outside of a nightclub in Portland. So, Randolph assumed the identity of his Blazer teammates and his gangster friends. That Portland team had been nicknamed as the Jail Blazers for the constant incidents that many players on the roster were involved in. At one point, Randolph actually physically attacked a teammate during practice. Virtually every month, some Blazer player would be arrested or charged. Whether it was domestic abuse, drugs, or driving under the influence, there was even a season where the longest period of time between players having some sort of run-in with police or being suspended by either the team or the league was just 17 days. In 2002, during his rookie season, Zebo was convicted for underage drinking. Another time, he was charged for driving under the influence of marijuana. He was caught drag racing while carrying an illegal concealed firearm and purposefully locked his keys inside of his car to disrupt the investigation. During this stretch, there was a lawsuit against Zach involving dogfighting. In 2006, a stripper accused Randolph of sexual assault, saying he allegedly offered $1,000 to two women to perform live sex for him and his friends. Apparently, Zach and his friends smoked a blunt while watching the performance. And then Randolph expressed his dissatisfaction with the show, and when a stripper fell asleep, he proceeded to attempt to anally and vaginally rape her. After the accusations, in spite, Randolph chose to play the song "I'm in Love with a Stripper" as his pregame warm-up song. 1 year later, Portland finally began breaking up the Jail Blazers and sent Randolph to New York, receiving practically nothing of value in return. Even when he eventually cleaned his act up as the member of the Grizzlies, he was still sometimes right on the verge of more trouble with the law. In 2010, a friend of his was arrested for driving a vehicle containing a cooler of marijuana. The vehicle? Yup, it was Randolph's. Prior to the Knicks trade, the gang enforcement sector of Portland Police Department released to the public that Zebo's MTV Cribs episode. They noticed that some of the people chilling around his mansion were the same people involved in some unsettled crimes in the city. Blazers management then hired a private investigator to look into Randolph's activities. They came back with a 3-inch file full of events that no basketball organization wants their star player to be a part of. General Manager John Nash acknowledged all of these issues, but still loved and respected him enough to proclaim that he would trust him with his own kids and grandkids. A Portland reporter was quoted as saying that, down to his core, Zach was and is a good person, that he was just enamored with the kind of gangster life he wanted to be seen that way. So Zebo was dealt to New York. He left behind him, however, the remnants of the Hoops family, who was stuck around Portland after the deal, which was good and bad. As we all know, since the New Year's murder occurred 4 years later in 2011. Randolph went on to bounce around the league for a couple of years, playing in New York for a year before being traded to the Clippers, who later flipped him to Memphis to make room for rookie Blake Griffin. Somehow, Z-Bo didn't make headlines after leaving Portland, quite possibly because he was no longer spending all his time around criminal friends and teammates. Perhaps it was also that Randolph had finally begun to mature and was ready to begin a new chapter of his life as a proper role model. In Memphis, he was truly reborn. The forward had finally found a home that loved and appreciated him as he quickly won over the fans' hearts in the new city that meshed with Zach's persona so well. It was a grind city. Media outlets in Portland predicted that he would bring along with him the destructive Hoops family, and that they would start tearing apart neighborhoods all over again. But they were more than wrong. Rather than tearing it down, Z-Bo helped build the community back up. He contributed in volunteer drives. He paid the electricity for 100 poverty-stricken families. And he bought 300 playoff tickets to give away to fans for the 2015 Blazers-Grizzlies series. Instead of dogfighting, now he rescues pit bulls from shelters. Zach talks about terrible things he saw growing up: drugs, destruction, his alcoholic father. He says now, "There's a lot of poverty here. If I can stop one kid from picking up the rock, stop one kid from picking up a sack of dope, then that's a win. I talk to kids cause I've been down that route." Damon Stoudemire says, "Kids love him. To me, that means a lot. Kids are almost like animals. They'll sniff you, and if they don't like you, they'll let you know. But kids react to Zach in a positive way. And the city of Memphis loves him too, as he does the city. They've accepted him with open arms and helped him turn his life around." Randolph said, "If Memphis trades me tomorrow, I'm gonna be in Memphis in the summertime working out. I'm gonna be in the community, and I'm always gonna be connected to the people." Teammate Mike Conley went as far as to say he could be mayor if he wanted. What I believe helped Z-Bo fit in so seamlessly with the community in Memphis, other than the fact that he moved away from most of the negativity he was keeping around him, was the style of the city matched his own. Grizzlies GM called Memphis an underdog town, much like Z-Bo himself. He went on to say, "It's a town that doesn't really care about your past, doesn't care about any dust-ups. They want to know what you're going to do in the future. If you reach out to Memphis and you embrace Memphis, Memphis will embrace you in return." So Zach reached out to Memphis, and Memphis embraced him for who he would eventually become, not who he was or what he has done. Randolph has begun giving back to his own hometown community in a big way as well. When he talks about Marion, you can tell he looks back on it with a sense of gloom and heartbreak. He mentions, "You go to Marion and people doing crimes, they give people like 60 years for breaking into houses, young black kids." He talks about how sad it is that the town's legacy is known as the city where the notorious hate crime lynchings by the KKK took place in the 1930s. "My town," he says, "that goes to tell you a little bit about my town." He talks about his personal struggles in the city, describing one particular vivid memory he has of a police officer driving past him on the street, then returning only to tell Zach that he'd never amount to anything. "That really hurt me," he said. Perhaps it was also motivation. Of course, today Randolph has amounted to one of the top basketball talents in the world and done more for the community than the cop would ever do. Marion now even celebrates an entire day dedicated to Z-Bo for what he has done for them. Ex-Blazer assistant coach Monty Williams told reporters, "I've met two tough guys who I've been in the league with, Charles Oakley and Zach Randolph. Those are the guys you probably don't want to push the wrong way, but those are the guys that will literally give you the shirt off their back and pay for somebody's funeral that they don't even know." Randolph says the reason he's capable of pushing through adversity so well is because of all the time he's been knocked down in his life and had to get back up. "I've been on the highest of highs and I've been on the lowest of lows. I've got strong will. Some people have never been through nothing. And when a situation happens, they crumble. But I've been there and I'm the same person," he says. So, Maybe without all the controversy he's faced in his life, all the stumbles he's had along the way, he never would have been the player, and more importantly, the man he grew into. Accolades all over on the court, and even from an early age when he came in second in Indiana's Mr. Basketball, yet still went on to become McDonald's All-American MVP. Now he's shifted his focus to his family, raising his kids to avoid the traps he fell into, and had to work twice as hard just to get out of it. His daughter's face permanently branded on his arm as a reminder forever for the people he lives his life for now, not the Hoops family, his own family. Big shout out to Clay Allen for letting me jump on the track. It's your boy Athletic Alchemy. Go check out my YouTube channel as well. And be sure to hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.